A very good morning to everyone present today. Learning. Learning is something which unifies seemingly divergent ideas and data. As Leonardo da Vinci correctly pointed out, it never exhausts the mind. Learning is a process which keeps on going and going. It's almost like an eternity. With this inspirational thought, I would like to welcome our dignitaries for the day. Today we have along with us Anil Harish sir, Dr. Nilima Chandiramani ma'am, who is the director. And with this, I would request the dignitaries to please light the auspicious flag. We see Thank you. On behalf of the Harish School of Law at HSNC University, Mumbai, I, Bharti Master, welcome each and every one of you for our induction program. I would now like to invite Dr. Nilima Chandiramani ma'am to welcome the dignitaries of the event.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to each one of you. I am flattered to bid our visionary, dynamic, and yet cheerful founder of the Harish School of Law, and all of you a very genial and a cheerful welcome this morning, which is filled with hopes, dreams, and desires. All of us share these. I congratulate each one of you and your parents. Today, your educational qualifications and qualities are being recognized by inducting you to this prestigious school, which is lively, challenging, diverse, and warm. It is named in the memory of a legend, late T.N. Harish, who is an institution in himself and law by himself. This day is all about you. You all are curious. You want to know so many things. Believe me, you are not alone in your curiosity. Even we are very excited to have you all with us. We want to know you better so that we can provide you an array of opportunities to learn, to grow and develop, and above all, to discover yourself. What are you and how will you achieve what you want to bring about a change in the society? Where we are concerned, the school is concerned, I can assure you that at all times, we will provide you an environment which is holistic, challenging, and yet comfortable, so that you can explore your academic achievements and interests and strive for excellence. But by challenging yourself, not by competing against each other. On the contrary, we want a bonding amongst our students at all times to come. We want a healthy relation of the students with the teachers, with the school, and with the university. I promise you one thing. Like Michelangelo, my team will chisel the fine David which is inherent in all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such inspiring words. Now, I would like to invite Professor Harish School, ma'am, to felicitate Anil Harish, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I would now request Professor Ridhima Singh to introduce our esteemed speaker for the day, Mr. Anil Harish, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Our esteemed guest for today, Mr. Anil Harish, sir, is presently a partner at the Induction and Company Advocates. His practice includes many diverse areas of law, including property, taxation, exchange control, and succession. He has been on the managing committee of the Indian Merchants Chamber, Chamber of Tax Consultants, and ITAT Bar Association, and has been an office bearer of several institutions like the Society of Indian Law Firms, of which he was the vice president. He is chairman of the Land Reform Subcommittee of CII. Mr. Harish has been ranked by the prestigious legal directory of chambers and partners as a leading tax firm. Mr. Harish is a much sought after speaker in India and abroad and has given several professional speeches and has authored several articles which have been published in newspapers and journals of our country. He is the director of several prestigious public limited companies like Induction Global Solutions Limited, Next Digital Limited, Blue Star Limited, and many others. Mr. Anil Harish is a trustee of several educational and charitable trusts such as the Harish Foundation and Hyderabad Sims National Collegiate Board. And of course, sir is the founder of this institution that we are currently presenting, the Harish School of Law. So now I request you to please address that.
And friends. The herd of wolves, it has been said, is quieter and more advanced than so many men, unless we all have one reason in bed or one power over it. This was sounded immediately the judge said in his book on jurisprudence. And he went on to say that without this common power to keep them all in awe, and he referred to Thomas Hobbes in his book Leviathan. He said, the life of man would be solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. And you must see the truth of these words. Suppose there were no laws. Anyone could walk into your house, do whatever they wanted, take away things, cause any kind of damage. Wherever you're going, people will waylay you, take away your belongings, and cause harm to you. So therefore, a law is necessary. Laws are necessary. A gigantic edifice of laws has been created with the Constitution, the central and state legislation, and so many regulations, whereby the law, the principles of the law are laid down, but the regulations are important too. Whatever we do is subject to laws, and it is in our interest to comply with the laws in order to maintain peace and harmony in society. Because laws are not only for other people, they are for ourselves as well. We all have to do, we are all a part of society. Truly did Cicero, the Roman philosopher and lawyer, say, we are the slaves of the law so that we may be free. We have to subject ourselves to these laws so that, and it is in our interest to do that, so that each one of us has rights, but along with that we have to have our obligations. The raison d'etre, the reason for being of the law, and the nature of the law is what you will study in this fascinating subject of jurisprudence and in your political science classes. Is the law a social contract, as the French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, or is it merely a way to exercise power over others? Even coming to college will involve traffic regulations, perhaps contract laws, buying a ticket, or paying a toll, or paying a fare. The building in which you study has been subject to regulations. The college in which you are studying has to comply with the Maharashtra University Act and the Bar Council mandates. The internet was developed only a few decades ago, and the existing laws were not sufficient to deal with the technology, the power, and the reach, the capacity to enable tremendous economic growth in the form of contracts and information and entertainment and advertising. And also, the capacity of the internet is there to do harm in the form of defamation, for instance. Accordingly, the Information Technology Act was promulgated, the income tax laws were changed, many have to take into account contracts which take place over the internet, e-contracts which you will be studying, etc. Human beings are complex and create unimaginable situations, and the law has to keep up and deal with these. So new laws are constantly being made and old ones being modified and existing laws being interpreted, sometimes differently by different courts and even by different benches of the same court. For instance, the Hindu Succession Act was amended in the year 2005. Section 6 was amended. And it made very drastic changes, very revolutionary changes. It said that even women, females will be treated as co-partners. Earlier, they were only members of the HUL. That means they did not have the power to ask for a partnership. And then it went on to say that even if a Hindu female gets married, she goes into her husband's HUL, but she doesn't go out of her father's HUL. So she actually has a double benefit from her father's side and from her husband. But that law has the amendments to Section 6 have been amended, have been interpreted by the Supreme Court, and then again by the Supreme Court in a completely contrary judgment. So these laws are changing all the time, and one has to keep pace with everything. Just as in law, so as in life, just as in life, so as in law, you must never take anything for granted, and you must always look out for the latest position on every subject. It used to be said in the old days that most persons may need a lawyer only twice in their lives. Once when they buy a house, and then when they make a will. But that's not true today. There are so many different laws and different niches in these laws. So this gives tremendous scope for practice, and you're ultimately to find what suits you. As Dr. Chandrika Mani said, you must find what suits you. On Wednesday, day after tomorrow, Mr. Mrinalini Deshmukh will be speaking on family laws, scope and growth. That's also a very important part of the law. That is something that can affect each one of us. The areas of law that I practice are income tax, FEMA, property, corporate laws, wills, etc. Let me tell you something about these. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes of the US Supreme Court said, taxes are the price we pay for civilization. So we all know that we have to pay some taxes. And of course, there has been taxation over the centuries, when in the form of land revenue and the contributions that have to be made to the state. The income tax law in India was first under the Income Tax Act 1922. And then, when the partition of India took place, the Income Tax Act 1922 continued to remain, but an economist from the UK, Professor Nicholas Caldor, was asked to give his opinion or to suggest the format in which the law would be. And he suggested what is called the integrated system of taxation. And I think that is called the maximum harm to India than any other principle that has been applied. He said that not only should there be an income tax, there should be an estate duty or inheritance tax. When you die, then your assets, some part of the assets should go over to the government. Because the rupee was worth much more at that time today than it is now. But he said that there will be a slab system for estate duty, and that if a person's wealth was up to 20 lakhs of rupees, then the tax would be about 6,72,000 rupees. So you can see it was 130% on the first 20 lakhs based on the slab system. And if a person's wealth or assets were more than 20 lakhs of rupees when he died, then the estate duty was 85%. So 85% would go over to the government. The Estate Duty Act was therefore promulgated in 1953 on the basis of its addition. Then the wealth tax was introduced in 1957 and the gift tax in 1958. And the wealth tax consisted of an annual tax, on each person's wealth. So every year one had to pay. You have to work out all your assets. You got some minor exemptions for furniture, fixtures, and so on. But all your jewelry, all your shares, your office premises, your home, your cars, everything was subject to it. The rates began from 1%, 2%, and at one point in time went up to 8% per annum on the excess over a certain limit. So that was something really quickly. Then in 1958, the Gift Tax Act was introduced. And that said that there would be a basic exemption of 5,000 rupees, then certain slabs would apply, and the highest slab rate was 70%. So if you made a gift even to your own child or your own brother or sister or to your parents, you might have to pay gift tax of something like 70%. So all of these were just drifting. So many people found that their entire income was going away tax, which is why black money proliferated. And in my view, there were two reasons for the growth of black money. One was the provisions in the Constitution of India, which said at that time that the salary of the President of India, of the Prime Minister, of a judge of the Supreme Court, of a judge of the High Court, etc., shall be a certain figure. It did not say shall not be less than, it said shall be. So it said that the salary of a judge of the Supreme Court shall be 5,000 rupees. Now that was introduced in 1950 when the Constitution was promulgated. But then that continued for about 25 or 30 years. So therefore, the value of running in 1950 of 5,000 rupees was quite substantial, but in 1980 it was not substantial. And if the salary of a judge was 5,000 rupees, then obviously the salary of the official junior to him was much less than that. And theirs could not go up. We cannot have a judge of the Supreme Court getting 5,000 and the judge getting 50,000 rupees. So their salaries were low. And not only the judges, but also the administrative officer, which is why corruption, in my view, began. And the second was that people could not afford to pay their taxes at all. There was, for instance, a member of the royal family, a Maharaja, who used to come to my father. And he said that after his father died, they had the palaces. One palace was exempt from wealth tax under the Wealth Tax Act, but all his other assets, all his jewelry, his other houses, his staff quarters, his cars, so many cars and everything was subject to wealth tax. And then when his father died and he had to pay estate duty, he said he just couldn't do it. So one day he told us that an officer from the income tax department came to serve a notice upon him. We took the notice, we looked at it, we saw it was a notice of demand for so many lakhs of rupees of wealth tax and of estate duty. So he just took a match and he burned the notice. There's nothing more that I could do. I was so helpless. And that angered the income tax department so much that they said, oh, he doesn't care for us, he doesn't respect us. But not realizing that they had the income tax law had completely impoverished him. So then they went after him hammer and tongs. And then he gave us after that with my father getting and 50 billion many awards. So it was very difficult for a rich person in those days, as difficult as it was for a poor person, because this way he was actually negative on account of having to pay tax. In the late 1960s, the income tax rates went up to 97.75%. So if your income was more than a lakh of rupees, on the first lakh you would pay about 60,000 rupees or so, and over that 1 lakh of rupees, the slab was 97.75%. And there were many disallowances also. So in your business, if you had your income and you had your expenses, suppose you had advertising expenses, then you would say that these are not to be encouraged, advertising is not encouraged, and therefore, if you have spent more than a certain amount, then we will disallow this, and so therefore your income was treated as much higher than it actually was. Then you will pay tax on that notional income, on the disallowance that we taken into account. And that again caused a lot of problems. Finally, the law became more reasonable over the period of time. And in 1997, the rates of tax went down to 30%. And now again, it's gone up to about 42.744% is the maximum rate for individuals. After the 1922 Act, the 1961 Income Tax Act was introduced, was promulgated. And that has become very detailed and very complex and full of penalties and prosecutions. Income should be a question of receipts, less expensive. That's theoretical. That's the way we would normally take it. But there are many differences. There are many distinctions that have been made. There's a distinction between revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. Can you tell me what that distinction is? Anyone of you? Yeah. That's very good. So, for instance, suppose a person has gross income sales of 1 crore rupees, and his expenses, the normal expenses are 80 lakhs rupees. His profit is 20. But suppose he buys an office for 50 lakhs rupees. Can he say that this office is also an expenditure? And therefore, I have not made any profit because we say, but I made a loss of 30 lakhs rupees. No, because the Income Tax Act says that assets which are of an enduring nature will not be allowed to be treated as a deduction, but will be treated depreciation. So that also is a very complex system that they have and which has many implications. And there are some differences between various laws. For instance, the rates of income tax and the methodology of calculating depreciation under the Income Tax Act is different from that under the Companies Act. So whenever a client comes in and says, the written down value of my asset is so much, then I have to ask him, are you looking at it from the Company Act point of view or from the Income Tax point of view? Because we have to see how it will be reflected and where it will be reflected. So there are these differences in the law, and you have to be aware of these differences in order to be able to go into detail and advise your clients. There are different classifications. For instance, if an owner of property earns rent, then it is taxed under the head called income from house property. But if you are not the owner of the property, if you are, for instance, the tenant and giving it out to a subtenant, then it may be classified or taxed under income from other sources or under income from business, profit and gain of business or profession. There are many deductions that are available. There is an exemption that if you sell a house and make a long-term capital gain, you can reinvest into another house without having to pay tax. Or if you sell shares or land, again, you can reinvest he proceeds into a new house. The status of non-resident is also very important. Do any of you have a non-resident in your family? Parents, brothers, sisters, cousins? Maybe some of you do, but the definition of non-resident under Section 6 of the Income Tax Act is very complex and becomes more complex every couple of years. And the definition of non-resident under FEMA is quite different from that. So there can be a mismatch. A person can be resident under the Income Tax Act and resident under FEMA, or non-resident under one and non-resident under the other, or resident under one, non-resident under the other, or non-resident under this and resident under the other. So there are many different implications. Now, the effect of the non-resident from the income tax point of view is that overseas income is not subject to taxing. If you're a resident of India, there used to be tax in India or world income, and you have to declare all your overseas taxes. But if a person has income outside India, you go to work, to do business, or even when, for instance, when they study, they do some on-campus job and they earn some income, if they are resident of India, which is based primarily on the number of years, then you have to declare your entire overseas income and overseas taxes in your Indian income tax return. Now, if people miss out on doing that, there's a huge penalty that there are prosecution. So in the last few months, the last few years, and particularly in the last few months, the government of India has been coordinating with other countries, with Dubai, with America, with Canada, with every other country, and getting lists of people in India who have any assets outside India. Because if you open a bank account in Switzerland, for instance, or wherever you open it, you have to tell them, give them your identification. So you might show them your Indian passport, or give them an Indian address. Even if you don't give an address, you let them show the passport. So the Indian government has been writing to other governments and saying, give us information about all the Indians who have assets in your country. And they have been getting that information. Then the officers send out notices to all these persons saying that we find that you have assets outside India which you have not declared in India and not offered for tax. Explain this. And are you resident or you're not resident? So then they have to explain. If they are not resident, then of course that's fine. But if they're resident of India and have not declared, then there can be taxes and penalties. And in fact, the last few letters, like the last few notices we got from the Income Tax Department, are so absurd. The limitation law is that the ITO can reopen in certain cases for 3 years from the end of the assessment year, and in other cases for 10 years from the end of the assessment year. But the last two notices that we got, the ITO wrote over there, give me a list of every country that you have visited in your lifetime from the date of your birth, and how much you have spent on each of those trips, and what was the cost of your expenditure for your lifetime. I went to Hong Kong in the year 1961 when I was so little. I don't have proof of those expenses, but there's nothing that they can do because the limitation act is there. The limitation law is there, but still they ask. So the Income Tax Department also goes completely out of its way. They'll be very difficult in many cases, and one has to tackle all of these things. So practicing the Tax Act can also be very stressful, as practicing, say, matrimonial law can be stressful because you see the conflict between husband and wife and the state and what will happen to the children. Then you see in the criminal law, people are accused of murder or theft or robbery or whatever they may be accused of, and it can be very difficult for them. But the tax laws are no less. When you have to answer questions like this, go back into detail, maintain records for many, many years, and whatever you maintain may not be sufficient. So anyway, I've decided that whatever record we have, even from 1960 or 70 onwards, I'm keeping. I'm not going to destroy it for my life, and I've told my children to live up to the because one never knows when these questions will be asked. Then there are many other situations that the Income Tax Act provides for, which are so contrary to what one would imagine would be that. Now, when you become lawyers, suppose a person comes to you, a client comes to you, and he says, I want to pay you your fee, But I'm going out of town just now or whatever, and I've drawn this money from my bank account, it's official money, but I'm paying with cash. If he pays you more than 2 lakhs of rupees in cash, for instance, you pay 2,50,000 rupees, then even if you account for that income in your calculation, your profit and loss account or in the expenditure account, and you work out your tax and you pay your tax correctly, because you received this fee in cash, you will have to pay a penalty under section 271 TA of 100% of that amount. So it happened recently to a fashion designer that he had clothes in his store and all the clothes were very expensive. People would come for their weddings and so on, and they will buy these clothes in cash and they'll pay for it in cash. Now, whether for them it's black money or white money is not relevant for him because he's accounting for it. But his sales like this in cash went up to crores of rupees. So the income tax department asked him to pay a penalty of that much, of 100% of that amount, even though he had paid income tax on the income component. So you can see the law is very difficult and you have to know this, you have to know these things. And for instance, another provision was that if you take a loan in cash from anyone of more than 20,000 rupees, then you have to, the borrower has to pay a penalty of 100%. And if you repay that loan in cash, then you have to pay another penalty of. Now today we have credit card. It's much more easy to go to handle situations in an emergency. But in the old days, this used to be the problem. Let's suppose a person fell in the middle of the night, and you wanted to go to the hospital. You had to give a deposit to the hospital, 1,000 rupees. You didn't have that much cash to go. You'll ask a neighbor for it, and the neighbor will say, "Sure, there's the money, I'm giving it to you." And then you come back the next day, you draw it out from the bank and you do the banking with cash. But if you borrowed 30,000, you pay a penalty of 30, and you pay a penalty again of 30 for repaying that amount in cash. So you can see the Income Tax Act can be very draconian, but you have to be very careful about it. And so essentially keep falling into these situations. And one has to advise them, you have to advise them. I make it a point in practically every speech that I give on income tax to talk about these penalties because I think it's a public service that people should know about them and should know that you can't take things for granted. Some interesting situations were arisen. For instance, once it seems that an income tax officer went on holiday, he went to Lonavala, and he checked into his hotel room. The room had not been cleaned. He had got there a little early, so he just went to the room, and the room had not been cleaned. We saw some papers lying in the newspaper basket. And we are trained to be suspicious, the income tax officers. We took out the papers from the newspaper basket, it was torn up, and he pieced it together, and he found that a transaction in cash of a tenancy right being transferred was going to take place that day. And the address was given, the address of the place and that was given this. In fact, so my father and I read about it in the newspaper the next day. But this officer, he left his family, he spoiled his own holiday, he came back to Bombay and he carried out a video away and we actually saw the cash transaction. That we reached there just at that. Everything had been specified that we would meet at 3 o'clock at this person's house, we will bring so much cash to take it. So he used it all together, he carried out a way, and it was the best person, there was no choice but to pay the tax on. He came to my father to concern and he knew whatever we do, but ultimately he had to pay the tax on that. Then, during the emergency, anyone who was opposed to the Congress at that time was arrested or to be created. So the Gwalior family, the Scindias, and the Jaipur family were clients of ours. The Gwalior family was raided, that is, Jyoti Raditya Scindia who's a minister now, he was younger than 1975, and his father and his grandmother and his aunts. So the palace was raided. And so they asked my father to come. Generally, they don't allow lawyers or chartered accountants to be present there, but they did allow my father to be there. Very strong personality also. So he went there and he was there for 3 or 4 days while the day was taking place. They destroyed everything that they could with that. For instance, they brought metal detectors, and then they found in some part of the floor that there was metal below the floor. So they said, oh, this must be gold again. So they broke open the floor. It was actually a dance floor, and there are springs under the dance floor. And the driver is catching down with it. The client took out 1 rupee from his pocket, said him only he handed it over, both of them sat, and the Chinese guy just left the office, and he went straight to graduate, got a staff, and flew out of it. But that was only the beginning. It was not the end of the story, because the income tax department could not believe that the ship had been sold for 1 rupee. The customs department could not believe that so much had been sold for 1 rupee. The enforcement directors who enforced FERA in those days, now it's called FERA, also could not believe this. So they all investigated and we had to go through days and days of interrogations and explaining all this. And then we appeared for him in some of those matters. And then finally he convinced him. And he did make a good profit out of this, made a crore rupees, so we should be not money in those days. But these are the different situations that arise. So the practice of income tax can be very fascinating. And another thing is that the law changes every year. Every year, the finance minister reads out the finance, she presents a budget, she or he presents a budget to Parliament. Now it's on the 1st of February of every year. And they make many amendments to the income tax. Usually it will be 50 and 100 amendments every year. The law keeps changing, we have to keep track of all of these. I give speeches on the budget every year, as my father used to give, and like many others do. Lord Sumner, an English judge, said, the way of taxpayers is hard, and the legislature does not go out of its way to make it easier. So we have to be conscious of that there will always be a conflict between the income tax department and between the assessees. And we have to try and make it as smooth as possible by planning properly, by advising, by ensuring that even if the matter goes into appeal, then it's well handled. For instance, the one person who came to us recently, and not a very well-off person, he had a reasonable business. We did only go with rupees property, we get 20 lakhs of rupees a year. But he got involved with a listed company, which did something wrong, and as a result of that, the income tax department assessed his income at 1,000 crores. Now, that is something impossible for a person to handle. So anyway, he went there with the rupee, then he lost all the rupee, all the income tax. Then they levied a penalty on him of 388 crores. That's when he came to us about 3-4 years ago, just before we locked down. So then we handled that, and I think in our office appeared before the trial and got a full penalty of 388 crores knocked down. Not that he will be able to pay it immediately, nor can he pay the rupees, but if you get penalty of 388 crores that we knocked down, and now we are going to try and take up the issue of the appeals, even though they are long since time barred. We do not file an appeal to the High Court. We will try to do whatever we can on the basis of this success in the penalty. So there are many different issues that come up. Practice can be very interesting, it can be also very frustrating because you have to deal with the department and sometimes with the bureaucracy. They say the British invented bureaucracy and the Indians perfected it. So that is quite often the situation. But sometimes also, I must say that you find very good officers. I remember once I was in the income tax department, I had finished my matter and I was going back to the office. And I met someone from my office there and said, what matter have you come for? So he told me something. So I said, let's go to the commission. Instead of going to the deputy commissioner, and let's go straight to the commission. So we went to the commissioner, they bring Mr. R.R. Charlie, wonderful person. So I walked in and he said, we're not in the board meeting. I said, this is what the situation is. So he said, we must cut out the red tape. The commission said that. And immediately, you must cut out the red tape. And there is something going on. So sometimes we come across people like that, and it's such a pleasure, such a great feeling when we see someone like that. On the other hand, we do also have to go through very difficult situations. Another law that I practice is FEMA, the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Have you heard of that? Do you know that we have exchange control restrictions in India? Well, the foreign exchange regulations were introduced in India on the 2nd of September 1939, on the outbreak of the Second World War. Probably Indian felt that there are some people that because Indians were opposing British control, British rule in India, we thought that we might help Germans or the Italians or Japanese or whoever. So they imposed exchange control restrictions on 2nd September 1939. Then after that, this was promulgated in the form of the Foreign Exchange Regulation Act 1947, and then the Foreign Exchange Regulation Act 1973, and now we have the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. At that time, it was so difficult that if a person wanted to travel abroad for a holiday, for instance, the only exchange that you allow, no matter how many lakhs of crores of rupees you might have, if you wanted to buy foreign exchange in order to go out, the Reserve Bank will allow $8. $8 only. So if you went on a holiday, that's all that you could get. So obviously there was going to be black money generation, of course, you were on your relatives and your friends, and you might compensate them for the amount that they gave you and so on. But it was very difficult. I remember even in about 1982 or 83, we wanted to go for the conference. My father and I wanted to go for an international conference. So that actually needs some foreign exchange, $500 or $1,000 or whatever it costs. We had to apply to the High Court. The High Court referred the matter to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and he had to sanction. Only if he sanctioned it could you get foreign exchange to go. Now, we were supposed to be on the Friday night. So the matter went, we applied a month or so before that. And on the Friday afternoon at about 4 o'clock, we got the consent, yes, the Chief Justice had said we could go. So obviously we forgot to do it. How do you get everything back and get your foreign exchange and make your arrangements and everything? So we could not. It seemed so difficult at that time. Well, FEMA continues, even though now our reserves are very high, our foreign exchange reserves are about the 6th or 7th highest in the world. Japan, Russia, Switzerland are a few countries which are higher than us, but we are about 6% in the world. FEMA is still there, in fact, it is becoming more complex. What does FEMA actually do? Formerly it was called FERA, Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. Now it's called FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. The nomenclature changed to make it look more liberal, and in fact, it is substantially more liberal, but the procedures are much more now than they used to be. This speaks to regulate transnational holdings and activities. You are a resident of India. If you hold a bank account in India, or property in India, you have contract in India, the Reserve Bank of India doesn't come to the picture. For the exchange, the foreign exchange department of the Reserve Bank doesn't come to the picture. But if you are the resident, want to have a bank account outside India, or buy shares of a company there, or hold property there, or to loan to someone, then you need RBI to, or have to do it in accordance with RBI line. If a person is non-resident and he has assets and they go outside India and single hand, obviously the RBI doesn't come to the picture. But if a foreigner wants to do something in India, then they need RBI to do it in accordance with guidelines. But the rules are so strange also because they just proliferated. They should have become easier after FEMA came, but they become more. And today the position is that if Mr. Donald Trump's company or Mr. Donald Trump himself wants to participate, be a shareholder of a company which is carrying on construction in India, which we are doing, given there's many Trump towers coming up in India, in Bombay, Pune, etc. That's permitted. But if Mr. Donald Trump himself wants to buy an apartment, then he's not allowed to do it. Just not allowed. You would have to apply to the Reserve Bank. They might give him approval because he's probably the president of the US, but generally they will not give him. So FEMA is also a labyrinth of regulations. And yet these are very important because there's so much more international trade that is going on. There are foreign currency loans coming in the form of foreign currency convertible bonds, ECB, external commercial borrowing, there are investments by companies. from overseas into India, investments by entities in companies outside India, or the ODI, overseas direct investment regulations and so on. So there are many different rules. But there isn't much time, and I'll just tell you very briefly about some of these things. FEMA is administered by two authorities. One is the Reserve Bank of India, and the second is the Enforcement Directorate. The distinction is this, that if something is actually illegal, like dealing in currency, holding foreign currency notes, selling them, getting rupees, or transferring illegally, that's an illegality which is dealt by the enforcement. But if there's something which is an irregularity, that you were supposed to inform the Reserve Bank of India within 90 days, and you didn't inform them, then they say what you were doing was legal, but you want to inform, so there's an irregularity, not an illegality. And therefore, the Reserve Bank of India handles that, and you can go through compounding proceedings and so on. I'll just give you one small example of something that happened. A person came to me, he said that he was coming back from Dubai. And at Dubai airport, they have these lottery kind of systems. You pay $100 or whatever, and you can earn $1 million or $100,000. So he had some money in this where he bought tickets. He went to India and found that he had won that $100,000. So he was very excited and he went to his bank and he told them, I'm taking this amount is to be credited to my account. As soon as this, please repeat. So they said, yes, it's no problem. Then the day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed, and he had not received that money. So he went back to the bank. They said, we frozen the account. He said, why? They said, because the regulations are such that when a person travels abroad, he can take certain pockets in the share. That is supposed to be used for legitimate purposes. The Reserve Bank of India does not consider gambling or buying a ticket like this legitimate, and therefore this is prohibited transaction or illegal transaction. Now you're taking the money by banking channels. It's not that you sitting over there, you got it and bought it back in his pocket. So we just stopped it. He said, now what do I do? So I said, well, firstly, you have to pay income tax on it. Because at one point in time, till about 1968, anything that you earned by way of lottery or jackpots and the races, etc., was free of income tax. Because it was supposed to be income of a casual and non-recurring nature. Something that just happens when we're done. But now it is taxable. Firstly, you have to pay tax on it. Second is, let's apply to the Reserve Bank of India calculation fee. So then I prepared an application for him to the Reserve Bank of India. And I said, and in that he wrote, he said that I went abroad, this is what happened. I did not know about it, but I had earned this $200,000 or whatever, and I paid income tax on it, so the government has benefited from that. And I brought in foreign exchange, so the government has benefited from this also. So now you please release the money. So the levy the benefit of about 15,000 rupees or so, and they allowed him to pay it. But the foreign exchange law is very tight and very restricted, and there also there's another scope of practice. In fact, I was asked to talk on FEMA, and if you go to YouTube, go to my Anil Harish, scope of practice under FEMA, you'll see that, so you can go to that. But since then also there will be many changes. So while you can read these talks and whatever you read on the internet and everywhere as guidelines, don't treat that as a gospel truth because it's changed all this. So there have been many changes in laws and such, but you get a better idea on FEMA. Then I just talk briefly about property. That's another section of law that we do a lot on. And in fact, showing here also lots of many of these are about transactions which will be which is about 200 crores of rupees, and which are going to 2 million. Because there's so much at stake, both parties are so careful about every line, every word is important. You have to go through. Then another one I just said you came up recently, where there's a meeting and they want to go for redevelopment. It's about a cost, three-story building. And they want to go into redevelopment. So the developer says, when he goes into the title, he finds that there's a height restriction. So where do you find that from? You find it from the documents. In this case, the documents began from 1890. This height restriction is in the 1941 document. So it's not that you go, you see a flat, you like it, you pay for it, and it's yours. No, you must go to the history. So there is a height restriction in this, which is going to be somewhat difficult. We're trying to find a way around it. But there was another transaction that came to us recently, where a person owns property and the BPG, or the MPG, the Mumbai Port Trust, claims that they own that land and he's a lessee. He claims that he owns that land. So he went into the history of the documents, etc. And then he had gone up to 1830, the client, before he came to us. This person had gone into it up to 1830 to see the documents at that time. They went to the archives in Induction College and we found some very useful documents. Then he came to me and I said, I'm still not satisfied. It's not clear to me that whether you're an owner or a lessee. I need something more than this. So he said, fine, I'll work on it. And he spoke to his lawyers in London. He's a non-resident. He spoke to his lawyers in London. And they went to the archives in England and they found some documents relating to a property in Bombay of a 1807. And I said, now I'm satisfied. This is fine. Now you can go to the review. So sometimes we have to go back so deep and so far to get the real positions of a property. So this is very interesting. There is FEMA comes into the picture, EDS, tax deduction source comes into the picture when you're doing property transaction, how you develop the payments and the GST and everything. So these are about some of the subjects that we're doing, and this will tell you how wide the law is, that there is a completely different subject, and yet they are interrelated to the stuff. And there are so many more which you will be studying over the years. Now, some general thoughts. Whatever you do during your time in college, you must do internships of different kinds so that you learn different subjects and then you see what suits you best, what interests you most. If you're doing tax, then you must learn accounts because I find that is absolutely critical. You must, of course, do new courses regularly and go to the course, visit the course whenever you can. Maybe just follow some of the senior lawyers, see how they argue. Don't just sit in court and listen, but actually maybe follow someone who has a lot of matters and you'll see how he argues, how he prepares, how he presents, how he puts forward everything in a minute. Then you must always be reading and writing and speaking. Take every opportunity you can to write and to speak. You'll have essay competition will come shortly, and you'll have education, the debates and more court. Please do that, please participate in discussions. Because as a lawyer, you're supposed to stand up for your clients. You must never be hesitant about that. You have to be strong enough to take on the case that will be planned, even take on the losing case. Because it's your duty to represent the client, it's the judge's duty to decide who's right or wrong. But you have to put forward the case very strong. There was a very good judge in England called Lord Delhi, and he had come to Bombay. When I was in law college, he had come to Bombay, and I went to hear him in the communication room. He spoke beautifully, and he said at that time, he said, "You must read every week. Read for half an hour, read for an hour, read literature, read history, read poetry, read fiction, but keep reading and thinking about what you're reading, because even if you're going to practice as a lawyer, you must have a background of other subjects." And so Walter Scott said, "A lawyer without history or literature is a mechanic, a mere working mason. If he possesses some knowledge of these, he may venture to call himself an architect." So don't just read, but read everything and keep thinking about everything. You have to be able to communicate very well. Then Lord Denning said, "Be clear. Obscurity in thought leads to obscurity in expression." And you do have to be very clear. I remember one case where my father was very close to a huge family with a crore of rupees in the early 1980s, when a crore went much more. And my father prepared a lot of material. So he went to court and he spoke for 1 minute, just 1 minute, and he sat down and he won the case. I was so surprised, but then I kept thinking about it. I did not ask him, but I used to think about why did he do that? And then I realized that he just got the exact one point which is necessary, and he said, so clarity doesn't only mean speaking many words. Clarity means coming to the point and expressing it as quickly and as effectively as we can. Now, all of us who have ventured into the law have a desire to do something. We need to stimulate ourselves intellectually, and we want to do something for our clients. It's not only a business. Yes, one has to earn money, one has to do well, but it's not a business, it's a profession or it's a vocation. We choose to have a duty, we choose to take upon ourselves the duty to help our clients. And we must also do good work. You must do some pro bono work, some free work when you help people in whatever way you can. And sometimes we have to go against the crowd. For instance, Mr. Ram Jacob, there was a memorial lecture for him on TV 2 years ago. I don't know whether some of you saw it, but it was very interesting. So Mr. Ram Jacob was fearless. And he defended the killers of India Gandhi, even though there was so much prejudice against them. He was not afraid of them. He was a very brave and very bold speaker. I remember in 1975, I was in law college in London, long time ago, and the emergency had just been declared. So many of the lawyers wanted to express their views against the emergency. But how could they do that? We were not allowed to have a meeting. So they deliberately applied to the police commissioner to say, we want to have a meeting in order to express our opposition to the emergency. The police obviously are not going to allow that in those days, it was so tight. So they filed a petition in the High Court. And many of the lawyers are Mr. Batiwala and Mr. Jacob Landing, Mr. Cooper, but Mr. Jacob Landing was amazing. He said that the peace that the government is trying to achieve by preventing us from having this meeting is nothing but the peace of the graveyard. You see, it was so important for you to express oneself. That is what life is about. We need our liberty as much as we need prayer. It's prayer and liberty are both very important. And in 1977, when the emergency was about to be lifted and elections had been announced, my brother-in-law, Mr. Harish School, he was speaking, he was teaching in government law college in those days. For about 2 weeks, he didn't stop teaching. He would go to class and he would tell all the students, all of you want to become lawyers. A lawyer has to uphold the law. This is the time when the law has been suppressed. There has been no law in these last 2 years because the government has had so much power. This is the time that we have to take to the streets and we have to help Mr. Jacob and help the Janata Party, the predecessor of the Bharatiya Janata Party. This is what we do. So 2 weeks he was just speaking. The principal was so upset with him, but he said, no, I have to speak because if we don't stand up for the law at this time, when will we do it? So he organized all the students of the college and many more. Then they printed t-shirts, say, Youth for Janata, get involved. Because you have to get involved. That is what is the goal. And then they went to court and Mr. Jacob was very successful as, of course, to make a Janata Party candidates. So I must end only by saying this. Work very hard, but that is absolutely essential in the law. There will be times when you lose cases where sometimes the price you may not be correct because there may be change in the law or your view is different or circumstances are not different. It is very disappointing and depressing. But keep learning, keep working, and keep challenging yourself.
We are very much obliged to hear you today, and I'm sure that each and every one of us have learned so much. This is nothing but this is experiential learning, and we are truly blessed to have someone like Sir today to engage us with his experiences and make us aware about not just the importance of law, but also the importance of reading, not just the law subjects, everything around us, and that makes us really a very significant person, a vigilant citizen. So much obliged, sir. Thank you very much. I will now open the audience for a quick question and answer round. So anyone who would like to, I would really encourage if you all have questions. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, please.
Hello, sir. I'm Rohan Ahmed and I'm studying in LLB 3 years. So recently, a couple of months ago, there was a talk about income tax since you showed some wisdom about income tax. So it was told that rather than having tax on income, can it be tax on expenditure? In this way, there can be savings also. So what's your opinion, your thought on that?
In fact, there used to be an expenditure tax also in the 1960s. Then they did away with it. Well, there can be different views on this. It can be that, but suppose a person is like the Nizam of Hyderabad was supposed to be very frugal. He doesn't spend anything. Then he won't have to pay any income, any expenditure tax, even though he has a lot of income. So there are points of view. In fact, GST is probably been the biggest earner for the government because that's objective, that it's transmitted, it's part of a chain. Anyone disrupts the chain and the government comes to know about it. In income tax, it's not always so. So there is a lot of conflict in this and what is it, how it should be done, it's much more subjective. Expenditure tax was there, but it was also hurtful because suppose a person was, let's say, was at a position in his life when he had to spend all his money, he didn't have enough for a saving. Like when you're young, you're earning, but you have to pay for maybe pay like student loan, maybe you have to buy a house, maybe you have to pay for your car or your vehicle, etc. At that point of time, you're spending 100% of your income. You're not saving anything, and if you have to pay tax on top of that, then you go to debt. But when you're earning more, then it's easier sometimes to pay. But these are different points of view. Although I feel that our expenditure tax is already there in a sense in the form of GS. When you buy something, whatever you buy, you have to pay GS. So that's I think.
Morning, sir. My name is Rajiv Khan. I'm studying 3 years LLB. So you spoke about that, and you showed that our foreign exchange reserves are constantly increasing. We are very commanding position at the moment. But if you see Chinese, they are much more commanding position at the moment, and they are actually worried for that. And for that matter, they are actually proposing to put their own currency in different countries, like for example Zimbabwe and these kind of currencies. Now, how do you react to that? Having a good foreign reserve is a boon or is not a boon?
I think it's a boon. We must have foreign exchange reserves because we do have a lot of imports. We have oil imports and so many other things like technology, foreign investment. So it's very important to have reserves. Consider the situation where you can take out only $8, or where you can travel at all, or you can import anything. That is because we have very low reserves. Much better to have high reserves that you use them properly. You do not have to have your currency becoming too strong. You have to keep a balance of it. Some regulation is required, but much better to have more rather than less.
Hello, sir. I'm Ekta Sejana from BBA and Sciences program. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned about the daughters can have rights from both the sides, from husband and from father side. So is it prevailing still, or there are any amendments in that? And second thing, there was an act or there was something bill passed in daughters' favors. For dad's property, like she can also have the right in dad's property, father's property. So, is it in implementation currently, or it's a work in progress?
It's like this. It's like property. Can be his own property self-acquired, or it can be HUA property, inherited property. So if a person has acquired his own property, he's worked and he's earned and he's invested and grown his own business, etc., that's his individual or self-acquired property. With that, he can do whatever he wants. He can gift it away during his lifetime, or he can make a will. And if he makes a will, he can do whatever he likes. He can give everything to his daughter, or he can give nothing to his daughter. That's up to him. But if a person has HUA property, Hindu undivided family property, something that has been inherited, then the law says that that is an investment category. And if that's an investment category, then his share in the HUA again, he can bequeath in any manner that he wishes by way of will. Or if he doesn't make a will, then it devolves upon all his heirs. But what happened was that Section 6 was introduced, Section 6 of the Indian Concession Act was amended with effect from 9th September 2005. Now that said, that even if a female had gone out of her father's issue at the time of marriage, which used to be the law before that, she will now be reinstated as a member of the issue and she will have an interest in the issuer property. Not in her father's property, but in the issuer property. So for instance, suppose the lady had got married in the year 2000. And she had gone out of, and let's say it was father, mother, her brother, and sister, just for example. So in the law before 2005, when she got married, she went into her husband's issuer, but she went out of her father's issuer. Now the Supreme Court decision is to the effect that she comes back as a member of the issuer. So therefore, the issuer, which originally had 4 members, then had 3 members because she went out, again goes back to 4 members. So she has 25% in that issuer property. So that is something in favor of ladies. In fact, actually it's resulting in many disputes. Many ladies who got married not 5 years ago, but 30 years ago, and 40 years ago, are coming back and saying that we have an interest in the issuer property, give us a share. So we are facing some of these situations. But it is a lot in favor of ladies. Yes.
Good morning, sir. So mine is a very practical question. So looking at the surrounding and the situation today in India, where ED and IT are very actively involved in everything, apart from the political support. You being a lawyer, sir, and very reputed lawyer, day-to-day activity you see in the court. Many influential people are also dragged in this. What is your take on this, sir? Like on the role of ID, IT, and court, how it is working in the day-to-day?
You see, these laws are there. We have to comply with the laws. Sometimes people don't comply with them, especially people who grow rich very quickly. Sometimes, or politicians, we find that many of them have not complied with amassed a lot of debt. So in those cases, if the enforcement directorate of the income tax takes action against them, that's justified. What we do not like is when the income tax department or the ED or any other departments go overboard. Then they really squeeze from people, they create a lot of difficulty, matters go on for years and years and years, and they just don't get settled with penalties of very harsh, guarantee of hundreds, and I've given you examples of hundreds of crores of rupees. So therefore, while we need compliance on the part of assessing or individuals, all of us, we also need compliance on the part of the government, which doesn't always happen. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, a person came to my father and he said that there was going to be a wedding in the family just 2 or 3 days later. And he said the income tax department had raided him and they'd taken away all the jewelry of the family. Everything. You can't have a wedding, an Indian wedding without jewelry. And they were so disturbed. So they came to my father, and then my father told my sister and me that the chairman of the Central Board of Direct Taxes was speaking in Bombay that evening. We will be read it in the papers. So my father said, go and talk about this over there. So we went, my sister and I, we went for the meeting, and the chairman spoke, oh, the income tax department is doing so much good work, and we are complying with the law, and we are handling every assessment so well and so nicely, and there were some press people there and all that, we talked so well. When we finished, my sister got up, and she said the situation. Everyone was shocked. The meeting just came to an end. Then he told us, please come to our office. So we immediately called up our father, and then he came to the income tax department about 6 o'clock, 6:30 p.m. and he spoke to the chairman. Then the chairman was so frightened by my father's power that he said, you talk to such and such commissioner. So the next day, which was the Saturday, next day was the Saturday. So we went, in those days, the income tax department used to function on Saturdays. So we went there, and my father argued before the commission. The commissioner was a very straightforward person. So my father explained The commission said, okay, Mr. Harish, you're saying so. I want a guarantee. Give me a bank guarantee and I will give you the bank. So my corporate said, certainly. You tell me which bank is open on a Saturday afternoon to give me a bank guarantee for you by Saturday evening and I will give it to you. No, obviously, the commission could get it. And the commission released all the duty just on the person, own personal form. So there are times when the intellectual property of the important relationship goes completely overboard. You have to prevent it. But that is not to say that assessors don't do wrong. Many assessors do wrong, but so do they. You have to understand.
Sir, do you feel that since our opposition or like today they say it is also as good as an emergency period where maybe not to say, but BJP is ruling one-sidedly everywhere. So do you feel, sir, again, she should, we as a lawyers or as a law students should, like you said, in emergency time, your brother-in-law said everybody to participate for Janata Party. Should we also come forward and stop people or the machinery to work properly?
Today is the situation in many ways is bad because political power and administrative power is being used against assessors collectively because of political reasons. That's not good at all. And this is something that we must protest against, but we have to protest within the limits of our own power. Suppose you as a student were to go and do that, they'll ignore you. They will not do anything, they might start a case against you as well. So don't do it at this level. But when the time comes, if we feel that if there's a group action that has been taken or protest in the form of writings or gatherings, etc., then one should participate in whatever one believes in and to the extent of your own power. Don't put yourself in a position where you become the victim rather than the accuser. So you have to build up your own strength and fight in the way you can, when you can, whether by writing or speaking or participating in it. But do it when you can and within your power. Yeah.
Hello, sir. My name is Ritika. I'm from BBA Finance. I have a very general question, like, we will be future lawyers, and as a lawyer, we are the protectors, right? We are the law protectors, so should we blindly protect our clients even if they are on the wrong side?
It is your duty as a lawyer to put forward your case as a judge. When you say blindly protect, it does not mean that you tell the lawyer that I'm going to make wrong statements in court on your behalf, or even though I know this is not true, I'm going to say that. Don't do that. You can make any legal arguments that you want. The arguments can be very different. It can be something unusual, something that no one will ever talk about. But don't change the facts. The facts are very important. You have to stick to the facts, you have to stick to the truth. Then your arguments can be anything. Then it is for the judge to decide what is right or what is wrong. For instance, in the Keshav Nanda Bharati case, some of you may have studied that in the Constitution. That was a very important case. It was a property matter, acquisition of property, and then the matter went up to the Supreme Court. And there, different arguments were put forward, which no one had ever done before. So Mr. Patriwala put forth the argument of the basic structure of the Constitution. And he argued on that for many days, and that was what held sway, and the judges decided, and that's become a part of our constitutional ethos. So you must argue, even if what you argue is different, even if what you argue is what something people consider completely unusual or even unacceptable, but your legal arguments are your legal arguments, the facts are immutable, don't change.
I have a question on family law, but then
Yes.
it's submitted.
Yes, if I know it.
Because we are having a lecture in the next series. So in family law, it is a subject this semester. And right from Narasappa Mali to what you call Shabrimala and then to triple Kala. These three topic is same, and then if you refer the case to the Article 44 of Indian Constitution heading towards UCC. Now, in all these three cases, what was X became Y, what was Y became yes. I mean, Article 12 and 13, whatever referring to. Now, what according to you said that we have to be very careful or very speaking about the law, and this we can call it an evolution of law. What do you think when the justice of that repute or that stature then change this and then change this, and at the end of the triple talaq, they took the shelter of Article 142 to declare the judgment. So if you can tell us something about that.
As you said, there will be an evolution of the law to our times. Situation change, judges change, thinking changes. It's happened in every country in the world. Slavery was one time, and one time considered law. Then after that, there's been so much protest. But even now, there are black and white issues in America. So in India also, triple talaq and so many other issues. The law will evolve. That's a part of the human psyche. That's a part of human nature. I'm sure our thinking also changes. Maybe your thinking has changed from the time that you were young or you're still young. So I think it has changed and must change.
Well, it was really engaging, sir. Thank you. So on behalf of Harish School of Law, I extend a warm gratitude and would like to thank Mr. Anil Harish, sir, for taking the time out and to be present with us today and raise the program. This event wouldn't have been possible without the support of our director, Dr. Nilima Chandramani, and Professor Sudhir Srivastava. I would also like to thank the teaching and non-teaching staff of Harish School of Law, HSNC University, Mumbai for their constant support. Now I request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.